This is my JVC TM-1600SU, and we're going to go over things like unboxing, testing, opening it up, some footage of using it, and why I spent close to $500 on this, as well as better options. So let's go. Now, I had way too much stress in this box than I should have. So switching over to my PS2, I am running 240p test suite via SNES emulator. So actually, I really don't see anything wrong with it. However, the black lines on the side, the brightness and contrast are not to my liking, so I need to fix those. However, that can wait till a little later. I'm going to show you guys me opening it out. Now, going to open this thing up, it's very simple. There's like 5 or 6 screws on the back and the shell just pops up. Now, opening this up, the first thing I see is cobwebs and bugs and dust. Now, it didn't seem that was that big of a deal because I didn't see any corrosion, no rust, no damage. I didn't see any capacitors overheating, blowing out, whatever. So I was thankful for that. Now, I did not touch anything until I properly discharged the anode. In this video, I did not have it quite yet, and the only thing I did was turn it off for 24 hours and had it unplugged, but I was not wanting to touch components. So I want to go back to this photo a little bit later, but after I cleaned everything up and all the dust was cleared, it looks really good. And I also noticed that back coating on the tube wasn't compromised. I could tell somebody was in here because the middle of the screws had paint missing, but I didn't see anything changed or replaced. Now, you guys have probably noticed that the logo was broken. It was not shown in the listing, however, someone cool on eBay makes these and sell these probably with a CNC machine. And that's what I'm going to open here. If you guys are looking for the exact same logo, go to Audio Tags Iowa on eBay and search JVC logo. This one was actually for the audio equipment, not the professional video monitor, so there was a few differences here. The one I have in my hand that I just got from eBay is a stick-on. I discovered that the one on the professional video monitor was tabbed in. There is also a dimensions difference, and I actually prefer the one I got from eBay than the factory stock one. So I am kind of happy it was broke. So after you guys see I took it off by one hand and the power of editing, I got it off. It did take a little bit, but I was also discovering it was tabbed in. So off camera, I got to stick on there, cover the hole, and look centered. Now, after I got that finished, if you guys haven't noticed, the protective film that is 25 years old is still on there. Now, I am taking it off. Now that was pretty cool. So for you preservists out there, I did end up saving the film in the tab just in case it ever comes back up. So if you hold down menu and contrast, you see an S on the screen. Release your finger off of contrast but keep your finger on menu. Then press phase and you get into block select. You are now able to get into the deflection block settings to take off the black lines on the sides by overscanning it. Now, 1 through 6 is about accurate on ChatGPT. However, you're able to find the service manual on other models, just this one is pretty hard to find. Now, the reason why the red and green are off by so much is because I've been messing with the cutoffs in the settings. So, I know the screen looks pretty bright. However, I have both brightness and contrast under halfway from max. Now, if anybody could help me out, that would be great. I have a color bleeding on blue and red. I am connected via PS2 with a S cable, and I'm wondering if that would be the cause. Or if that could be connected to a potentiometer tuning, or just a going out capacitor. Now, was it worth it? For me, I would still say yes, because I really enjoy playing with it and it looks cool with my setup. However, that price tag is... Now, I do think it looks really good, and I like how it works with the aesthetics of my desk. Now, I do have that color bleed issue to take care of, as well as the cost of future repairs. And that's kind of why I got this. It's very simple. There's no TV tuner, no VHS player, and everything looks pretty straightforward. As well as I have a suspicion that this was a very low hours. Now if you see here that 004 represents the hours, you times that by 100 and that's what you actually get on your hours usage, totaling about 400 to 500 hours. Now that is modifiable, unfortunately, so I can't get a definitive answer with that. And with how good the overall condition with the neck is, as well as condition to quality and even the film being left on there, my suspicions are more that this was an extra monitor that just didn't get a lot of use. I mean, 500 hours over 25 years is just minutes a day. And the year on this was 2001, so it wasn't the end of production, but it was in that time period of transitioning to LCDs and plasmas. But I just don't know. But what I do know is the condition is very good for being 25 plus years old. And the tubes are rated for 30, 60, 90, even 100,000 plus hours, as long as you don't keep the brightness shot up and take care of it. So now I want to talk about the other stuff. This is going to get a little bit more boring, but this is stuff I could have done that you can do, and etc. And now I also want to make mention that that PS2 right there was gifted to me about 20 years ago to the date by family that is no longer here. And stuff like that is just not talked about as much. It's not the biggest part of the project, but it is the reason why I've never sold my PS2 and I'm just never going to do it. And I think that's pretty cool.
Please stand by.
Okay, so this is the part of the video where we look over the eBay listing, Facebook, Macari, some sites like CRT database, and also the Facebook group that I really like that has a lot to do with CRTs. Now, as you see in the listing descriptions, it did not show it turned on. I just saw that there was a cord behind it, and he had a few pictures of the professional video monitor itself. Now, the seller did say it was in good condition. However, with it not being on, I was a little skeptical. So whenever I read the description, it had used on it, and also in the title it had good. That means that it would be covered by eBay's money back guarantee. and I was very happy about that. So it would be hectic, and I would lose money temporarily on it, but I would be covered at the end of the day. But I did my homework. I looked on reviews, I looked on Reddit, YouTube, CRT database, Facebook, groups, just whatever I could find on this monitor, and it led me to buy it. Now, right here, we're going to go over to CRT database and just kind of show you how the layout is. This is a very good tool. Now, on this monitor itself, it does not have a really good service manual. So I look on the 1650 and other JVCs for help with that. Also, I was looking at the film on the button controls and the screen overall with the condition of the shell, and everything seemed good on that end, and the year really helped solidify the purchase. Now, here is the listing for the custom made logo for it. This is who I bought from Audio's Tags Iowa, like I shouted out earlier. And you can find many of these on eBay, gold plated, silver, but I like their quality and it was pretty easy, fast shipping. And I also wanted to shout out the CRT Collective. It's a very good group. And the one thing I would notice though is if you guys ever try to post anything, it's got to get verified through an admin. And that does help with like just the nicety of it, as long as the admins are being cool and just like not being dicks about it. But yeah, this is a great group. Put a few posts out and pretty good responses overall. Now, going to eBay, you can kind of see what people are selling if you're looking for a PVM or a professional video monitor, since PVM is Sony trademarked. They have many options on eBay because it's just kind of where all the people go to sell them. I find it a lot easier to find on here than my local Facebook, even if it's in 100 miles range. Just got nothing on there. CRTs all day, just not PVM specifically. Now, some of these prices are a little higher than they should be, and obviously. So I wanted to see what was really selling, and on eBay they got an option to show sold items. So clicking on here, you can kind of see what people are buying. I saw that one earlier. I was wondering what was going to sell, so somebody did buy this for 600. And I just don't know how good of a deal that one is, actually. Ooh, somebody won that for... Wow. Somebody get a good deal on that? What's the problem? Oh, burning a nick on the screen. I mean, the nick could be on the film. Where's the burning at? Is it the burning? Oh. Is it the 16 by 9 burning? Hmm. I still say that's a pretty good deal right there. Alright, let's see. Here's a Sony Trinitron, and those are the best of the best. Ooh, a low hours. Wow, somebody paid a lot of money for that one. Jeez. I don't see how people expend this much money, but I did spend a lot of money on mine. That's just the budget restrictions. Whoa, that's a good deal too. Wonder if this was local. Dude, people are getting good deals out here. What the hell? $96. He bought this for 300? The tax? Oh, is that caved in there? 2002? That's newer than mine. What's wrong with this? Wow. That's a good deal. So people are getting really good deals on these now. Like a few weeks ago, it was just horrendous. Right there. What does that screen look so weird for? That's just how the window looks. There. Ooh, nice setup right here. 200. Man, people are getting some good deals here. Alright, cool. Very good to see. Wonder if we can go back to when I bought mine. It's like a month or two ago. Another one, see, close to 3,000 right there. Let me look on this JVC TM. Yep. Alright, so this one sold on March 30th. However, that one's for sale right now. And I think the buyer was too quick on the trigger and didn't see like burning or something. I don't understand why multiple listings I've seen been purchased and then this buyer doesn't want it. Do they just get click happy? I mean, that's a lot of money just to get click happy on. So I wanted to show. There's that sold items. JVC 16-inch. Let me just look at mine because it should still be on here. 16. There we go. Now that one is the same model as mine. However, I don't know why somebody's wanting that much money for that. Even if it's got the racks, most people don't use those. It's especially, it's got burning in it. So this is the original listing, March 26, 2026. So that one is mine. However, I saw that somebody actually bought it before on March 19th. It was good condition, grade B, which is weird. But anyways, and then there was this listing, grade condition A, for 400. So that's somebody got a better one than in my condition, but I really do like mine, and that's good. And then there's a few of these down here. Somebody won. Man, I think if you do the auctions, that might actually help a lot. There's these. I don't think that one actually even. No, that one has this video on it. But I don't think that one is non-upgradable. But see, look, there it is again. Somebody bought it on March 30th, then didn't want it, and then it got sold to on April 9th for, I mean, even cheaper, but I mean, that's a good deal for whoever bought it, but still, I mean, I don't understand it. There's quite a few listings like that. So we'll go ahead and go to Facebook. So there we go. This is everything in 100 miles from me. So I looked it up before. There are no PVMs in the area. However, lots of CRTs. So let's start looking at them. So I got it within 100 miles. This is anything I can pick up locally, and this would honestly work for bigger TVs like the 27-inch, 32-inch, stuff that just does not make sense to get shipped in the mail and is a lot higher risk. Now, if you did want to get one of these, I would highly recommend you do freight. Because you do freight, it's a lot less chance of it breaking, and it's kind of, honestly, I think required once you get in a certain weight and dimension capacity. So, there we go. See this one. This one's popping my eye. Ooh, this one actually has RGB on it. That's very cool. Occasionally turn itself off after it's been on some time. Ooh, there could be a few things back there. And I do see a lot of Sony Trinitrons, Toshibas, Hitachis. But what I'm also interested in is the computer monitors, because if you're looking at computer monitors, those are probably the closest thing you can get to as a PVM with the price of a CRT. It's kind of in that weird range where they're not as popular. But here's 7730S. 3S, sorry. 2004. Good screen, but it just looks weird. I don't like the look. I've never been into that huge old monitor look unless it was more like a Apple product, and even then I never owned an Apple Mac. So there's, see right there, same thing, flat screen technology. That's exactly what my PVM has. And this one's only for $100, but the ports are always going to be weird on these. Your HDMI with HDMI adapter there is probably VGA. I think we saw it right there. Nope, it's what is that one? That's the old one. Shoot, no, that is VGA. Whoops. I should know. I've used it in the last 5 years. And just many. I don't. Oh, this one actually has a PS2 included. And then you get the ones where they're going to be like stupid expensive for no reason, and they just have yellow, red, and white outputs, or even RF, which is just dumb. So eventually they're just lower the price. And one last thing, we are going to look at Macari. Now, this is the only other site I use. I don't like using anything for meetups other than Facebook because OfferUp and Craigslist are really high risk of scamming or something else compared to it because you just don't know that person. Now, obviously, you don't know people on Facebook, but with the rating systems and having their profile social media account attached to it, it helps a lot. And then you can make that decision if you would go do it compared to not knowing that person on the other apps. So, Macari, it's kind of like eBay, but the difference is you have a rating system. And whenever you buy a product off the seller, you have 3 days to give them a 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, 2-star, 1-star rating. And if you don't give it in that 3 days, then the seller gets their money afterwards. But the time that you give them the rating, then they pay the seller. Macari does. Or they hold the money if you file a claim, and then you can do arbitration on that via Macari. It's a little bit more of that consumer protection, and I've actually found some really good deals on here. However, CRT is not as prevalent, but there are some, so maybe if you're looking for that specific one, you get lucky. This Disney Pixar car has swatted my eye because it's actually complete, except no remote, but nobody ever has this on there. And this one's actually in really good condition, however, it does not work. Black screen. Now, what if you didn't want that old monitor like I have and you want something new? Well, the tubes got really disconnected in 2008, even though some manufacturers were still producing them into 2011, 2012. They just don't make them anymore. It doesn't really exist. There's like one company that does it for military equipment and some commercial grade stuff, and just not really for enthusiasts. So the other option is to buy more of a retro mod type deal. So I think TechDweeb had a pretty good DIY thing on it. He took a LCD monitor, this one right here, and LED, my bad. And all he did was mask off the screen, and then he painted all the trim pieces that nice beige, and did some like 3D print buttons. And since it's 4x3, he just uses it like that. And even though it's got 3.5 stars, it works for what he does, and it looks pretty good doing it. But the most important part about that is that 4x3 aspect ratio, because many companies still use that in their legacy operations. So they need it. Now, going to Etsy, some people have actually created CRT inspired ones. Now there's a few of these out there. I don't know how popular it is, but people buy them. So this one has a 9.7 2K display in it. Now, it does have a 3D printed frame around it, but it looks pretty cool. And these honestly might pop up more and more as the time goes on for somebody who wants that PVM vibe. Cool. Well, thank you guys for making it to the end. If you have any helpful comments with stuff for me, or if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Have a good day.